I want to kick off by speaking directly to Dr. Sultan about the $20.7 billion deal that we saw taking place here in Abu Dhabi just about 24 hours ago. Given everything that we're seeing related to COVID-19, continuing concerns, frankly, about the surge of the virus globally, US-China trade, geopolitics, market volatility, a cornucopia of issues, including who is going to be elected president on November 4th, and oil right now, as I'm seeing on my screens, barely popping at $40 a barrel. Dr. Sultan, it might not be the most obvious moment to ink a $20.7 billion deal on pipelines, but we want to get a sense from you of why it was so important to do this deal with these partners and do it now.
Well, hi, Hadley, and it's indeed good to see you again. But allow me, before I answer your question, I'd like to first start by saying hello to my very dear friends and esteemed fellow panelists, Francesca, Larry, Bruce, Adebayo. Good to see you all again. And Hadley, I think the answer to your question boils down to the fact that the UAE has created a safe, reliable, and stable business environment. And that is, of course, underpinned by a robust regulatory framework and supported with a fully equipped business unique partnership model. Getting a transaction of this size and this complexity over the line in such a tough economic climate with a very complicated business environment like the one we are all going through right now and the one that we are actually all experiencing only demonstrates the continued confidence of the global investment community in the UAE as a highly trusted go-to investment destination. This $20 billion deal, announced only this past Tuesday, highlights the world-class nature of the UAE's energy assets and infrastructure base and their low-risk and stable income-generating profile. And this is just the latest example of Adnok and the UAE's ability to attract top-tier investment institutions to the UAE. And we are very keen and, in fact, excited about many opportunities that will go on stream in the very near future.
Dr. Sultan, I want you to come into the conversation and walk us through your outlook for oil markets. Obviously something that we focus on very closely here at CNBC. I'm sitting here looking at my boards right now. WTI crude is sitting above 37. Brent crude is just slightly above $40 a barrel. That's not good for this part of the world, is it?
Well, it all depends on how resilient you are and how you can how able are you to manage or maneuver throughout these market dynamics. But look, Hadley, in my view, I don't think anyone today is in a position, especially at this point in time, to tell you exactly what a recovery would look like or how this could potentially unfold in the very near future. No one can predict the impact of a potential second wave of the virus. Having said that, there are some encouraging signs of increased activity in Asia. We're seeing it in Europe and, of course, in North America. And this is simply happening because of the national economies starting to reopen again. And one of the key indicators we monitor very closely is country-by-country PMIs. And I mean here the Purchasing Managers Index. Some actually are inching above the crucial 50 mark for the first time since COVID started. And they are pointing towards economic expansion once again. And that is also being reflected in the oil markets, which have clearly tightened in the very recent weeks. If you look back where we were just 2 or 2.5 months ago, oil markets are in a much healthier place today. In short, the consensus in the industry is that there is reason for cautious optimism and positivity. There is reason for positivity. And that is, for example, the recent OPEC Plus agreement together with a robust demand helping rebalance the market. All of these are good signs and are good reasons for the industry to be optimistic and positive about the future.
Dr. Sultan, I want to follow on to what Bayo was just saying there in terms of the way that you structured the deal and the way that you structured, frankly, the deal that you had several months ago with Larry and KKR, with Henry Kravitz. And that was an interesting thing to cover, I have to tell you, from a CNBC perspective. What other opportunities do you see in the pipeline for foreign direct investment in something similar here in the UAE?
Knowing how persistent and consistent our value proposition is, and knowing the fact that we are enabled with a robust world-class infrastructure equipped with a phenomenal regulatory framework, and of course facilitated by a visionary leadership that supports such creative, innovative business ideas, we in Adnok will continue to develop investment opportunities across the business value chain. And that's in order for us to make smarter use of our capital and to reinvest it in more profitable projects, as well as we have announced our intent to more proactively manage our portfolio of assets. For example, Adnok today, with a pool of long-term strategic partners, are already investing downstream to create in the city of Ruwais one of the largest integrated refining and petrochemical complexes in the world. We are, in fact, developing a plug-and-play manufacturing ecosystem that will help the UAE's effort in diversifying the economy. Of course, it will also enable the nurturing of the growth of the SME sector. It will generate sustainable, homegrown jobs. But outside of Adnok, if you allow me, there are many great opportunities for international investors across multiple sectors in the UAE. And they are from energy to energy infrastructure to world-class logistics and services sector. For example, the UAE already today has a world-class logistics and services sector that we want to definitely enhance further. In addition, we are now very much focused on creating a vibrant industrial and manufacturing hub and developing our healthcare business, our healthcare industry, as well as tech and biotech sectors. We are growing our agriculture, food production, and water sectors. And as you all know, we have a significant position in the renewable and clean energy space. And we want to capitalize on that to complement our expertise in hydrocarbons. In short, what I know for a fact is that there is a differentiated value proposition being provided by the UAE to best-in-class international investors. And there are many great potential investment opportunities with an attractive investment profile, with an attractive risk-return profile, and they are all high-quality, long-term investment opportunities for investors from all over the world.
Dr. Sultan, I wanted to give you a moment to weigh in on this as well, because I've spent a decade here in the region, and I have to say, with regards to inclusion, women in government, women in business, I mean, in many ways, the UAE is decades ahead of the rest of the world.
That is indeed very true. I mean, if you look at the Federal National Council, the equivalent of any parliament, today is 50% well represented by women. Our cabinet is almost 1/3 represented by women. And if we only look at our Abuظbي National Oil Company, Adnok, today we have 3 very competent, well-equipped females running 3 of our big oil and gas companies. One of them is running our gas company, the other one is running an upstream oil and gas company, and the third one is running our fertilizers. So in a way, but you should always note that this is not really new to the UAE. This has always been an integral part of how we conduct business and how we were brought up as a community. We've always put very special emphasis on empowering women, and it's very evident today.
Dr. Sal, I want to close it with you at this point. I mean, in talking about what we're seeing globally, but in the UAE specifically, obviously, when we talk about opening up, getting back to business, but at the same time being able to protect everyone from the implications of this virus. How do you see the UAE getting that balance right, where others are frankly not?
Yeah, well, you know, Hadley, striking this balance is in fact a very tough call to make. I mean, you live here in the UAE, and from the start of this health crisis, the UAE's response has always prioritized the health and safety of everyone living here in the UAE with an approach that focuses on comprehensive testing. And we did that simply because we believe that it is indeed the first and best line of defense against the virus. Now, this continues to be the case as we begin to carefully reopen the economy. And so far, as you know, the UAE has carried out well over 3 million COVID tests, and that is by far the highest per capita ratio in the world. But at the same time, the UAE government has put in place clear guidelines, and we've been very transparent and very forthcoming with such guidelines to ensure that businesses can safely reopen with the necessary precautions to enhance the safety of the employees and, of course, the general public. I believe that striking a balance is not an easy task, and we're going at it with everything we've got. And I think so far the UAE has been able to demonstrate a very unique, differentiated model in how we've handled this whole COVID situation.
I'm afraid we're going to have to leave it there. I just want to thank everyone once again for joining the World Government Summit, as well as CNBC International, Dr. Sultan, Bruce, Francesca, Larry, Bio. Thanks so much. I'm going to hand it back over to Reem.
Thank you, Hadley. Your Excellency, Dr. Sultan, Bruce, Lawrence, Bio, Francesca, to be honest, this has been a really interesting session. And I think it goes back to really highlighting from the likes of you in the sense, what are really the changes in the investment dynamics, whether it's regionally or globally. And I think one thing we can take back is that agility. The right governance. Bio, you tapped upon purpose-driven institutions, and how do we drive purpose into everything we do? Sustainability, talking about ESGs, how all of this collectively is going to actually drive this new normal, and how we can actually take all these pointers when we do design investment dynamics moving forward. I thank you all for such an interesting session, and even the audience has sent in so many questions, but unfortunately we haven't been able to go through them. But thank you for joining us today, and I hope everyone stays safe and take care.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.